this is Lucas, and today we're going to be taking what will hopefully be a fairly quick look at this. This is, well, the product description as I bought it was PLA 3D printed upgrade kit for Fantastic Model Margh, or something like that. I picked it up from DP Robot Store on AliExpress. It's essentially an Armour stand that goes with Fantastic Model Margh, Ultra Magnus, and enables you to display the core robot, which is what this is on the left, and to display the Armour, which comes with Margh, which you can put on the core robot to turn him into Ultra Magnus. So this is a stand-in for the core robot, so you can have the core robot on display and armoured up Ultra Magnus on display at the same time. And it's cheaper than buying 2 copies of Margh, because this one cost me, as I say, from DP Robot Store on AliExpress, it cost me about £35, which isn't a bad price to pay to be able to display 2 robots instead of 1 at a time. It seems to be currently sold out from that seller, but there's a few places on AliExpress where you can pick it up. It seems to have quite a few listings for what seems to be exactly the same kit. I know it's been available on eBay as well, but I'm in the UK and the eBay listing that some people were linking to didn't seem to be available in my region. So let's have a closer look at it, and then I'll get all the armour installed and see what it looks like. So this is a 3D printed skeleton, essentially, or half skeleton. And first of all, in terms of the quality, I've seen varying reports on this, but the quality of my one seems to be pretty good. Some people have commented that they feel they will need to sand and paint it. You can see fine print lines in the thighs. And by the way, the only bit of this that's going to be visible when it's actually in use is going to be the thighs. The bottoms of the legs, the crotch and the chest all get covered up by the armour. So although there are print lines all over it, they are very fine print lines. The red bit in particular feels quite smooth to me. I may not bother to sand and paint it. I think the quality looks quite good. The colour, it is not a perfect colour match. Let's see if I can get any of this in the light where you'll be able to see the comparison well enough. I think you can see there, it is a shade or two darker in respect of the thigh piece, the piece you can see, than Margh itself. So that's another reason you may wish to paint it. It's not massively darker, and again, when it's all installed, I think it looks pretty good. So yeah, it's the fine finish. You might want to do a few things to touch it up. You might want to sand it, you might want to paint it, but I personally don't think it's absolutely necessary that you do either of those things. In terms of build quality, it feels pretty hefty. I'm not going to weigh it, but it feels solid enough. There is, oh, there's the back as well. I'm showing you that. So it's got a nicely detailed back piece, which is of course on display in the finished mode. I'll show you that when it's installed. There is a point of rotation here. I'll check when the armour's fully on. I have tried it out quickly today. I've got a feeling there isn't a waist rotation when it's all fitted together properly. There are joints at the hip which allow the legs to go out that far and to rotate, fully backwards and forwards. And there is thigh rotation as well. You can see these joints stick out slightly. That's where it's been pushed together. There are screws in all of these screw holes. That, which just fell off there, is a cover for the mushroom peg. So that's all that is. So that's absolutely fine. That's gone back in. So there's something to bear in mind. Those mushroom peg covers may come out on you. Knees are double jointed, and you can get a pretty deep knee bend out of that. It's feeling quite stiff. The tolerance there is good at the moment. And again, there are screws, I guess, if it got loose over time. And absolutely nothing at the ankles, but there doesn't need to be anything at the ankles because the ankles go inside of here and they stay inside this part, so all the ankle tilt on Margh when he's put together is in the Armour anyway. So, like I say, doesn't need ankle articulation. They have put some sculpted detail where they didn't particularly need to. The toes, the fronts of the shins here and at the knees. In fact, more detail than there is on the knees of the Corbot. And there's some sculpted detail on the backs of the legs as well, which again isn't really necessary because all that's going to be covered up. Oh, one other thing that comes with this kit, or two other things, are heel spurs for Margh. Let's see if I can take one of these out and put them in earlier. Don't want to damage them. And they're in there quite solidly. I'll leave them in there for now. But you can see, again, this is a good example of the colour difference, I guess. What they do is just give Margh little heels to improve his balance. So that's a nice thing that they've thrown in as well. Oh, and of course there's all this sculpted detail on the front here, which you can reveal when it's in bot mode, and I'll show you that. And of course there is a matrix chamber, and this is the matrix that came with Margh, and that fits in there very well indeed. Right, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to install the Armour on here. I'm not going to do that on camera because basically it's the same as installing the Armour on Margh itself. You follow all the same steps. One thing I will say that I found slightly tricky when I was putting it together earlier is getting these tabs here into the sort of hip skirt section on here. That's a bit awkward to get them tabbed in, but again, that's not really anything to do with the Armour stand, it's just the design of the figure. So do take care that you do get those bits there tabbed into these bits here so it all holds together. So I'll get the Armour on, then we'll take a look at it fully suited up next to the Corbot. Okay, so here we have the Armour stand and the Armour next to the Corbot, and we managed to turn one robot into two robots instead of just having a jumble of spare parts in the box or just displaying it in this mode and not having access to the core robot for display. It is a good way to pad out your collection a little bit more without having to buy two Ultra Magnus figures, and I think it looks pretty good. Let's have a look at the armoured up kit in a bit more detail, check out the articulation, etc. Okay, so as mentioned, almost all of the kit is covered up when you've got it installed. You've just got the thighs, which it's perhaps hard to see with the lighting. You can see they are a shade darker, as I mentioned. You could paint those if you wanted to. Of course, you've got the sort of tops of the lower parts of the legs are visible here as well. As we turn around, let's get this bit put down and plugged in. yes, you've got the full backs of the legs on display here. I mean, I guess you could say maybe these joints are a little unsightly under the butt flap, but they're pretty well hidden. You've got the back plate showing, but I think that shows well. I mean, arguably the knees and backs of the thighs that are on display are a little bit tidier than what you might otherwise have, although these have got nice chrome bits. But I don't think it looks bad, and you don't display your figures from behind anyway. The backpack is a good match. It does have this silver panel at the top here, and some sculpted details in these bits here. Silver circle there, whereas the Fans Toys one just has a plain red circle. It does have a translucent piece there which you're missing, but again, that's slightly different. I think it looks good for the backpack. In terms of articulation, let's put Margh back over there. As I mentioned, you don't get the waist swivel if you have this blue hip skirt piece tabbed in to the red piece, which you kind of need to get it to hold together tightly. You do still have the leg articulation, forwards and backwards. You do still have, you know, very good knee articulation, just because of the sculpt of the Armour. It's a solid knee joint. This, incidentally, does tab in underneath. See if I can show you. It tabs in very well. There is a tab hole there, so the Armour can properly tab in and get a grip underneath. So, I mean, for me, this is something which will enable me to display my figure on the shelf. I'll be able to get a fairly decent pose out of it. You've still got the rotation there, although that mushroom peg cover seems to want to pop out. You could still get a fairly dynamic enough pose for posing it on a shelf. It's not something you're going to want to play with and manipulate much, but once you've got it in your display, I think it's going to be absolutely fine. Let me just fiddle with this hip skirt thing just to see if we can get waist rotation out of it. Bear with me. Okay, all I've done now is disengage the torso section from the waist section, and that does free up that rotation there. So again, if for your display, oh, there's that mushroom peg cover again, I'll sort that out in a bit. If for display you did want to get some waist rotation in there, you could achieve that by disengaging at the waist. One last thing that we do need to quickly look at is the chest details in this mode. So you can of course open up Margh's chest to reveal the matrix chamber, and let's turn it to the light so you can see that. All that sculpted detail is in there and is revealed when you open that up. So it's got that playability, that functionality to it as well. Okay, so final thoughts on the PLA 3D printed upgrade kit for Fantastic Model Margh. I think it's great. It's a recommend from me. It's cheap and cheerful, allows you to display both versions of Margh on your shelf. There is another kit in development from Like Toys, which looks like it's going to be quite a lot more detailed than this one in terms of sculpted detail on the legs and putting a sort of faux truck on the chest, front, inside. I'm not too worried about those details lacking in this kit because it's going to be covered up most of the time when it's in your display, and it'll be interesting to see how much the Like Toys one costs as well, because this one is certainly, I think, a bargain, about 30 quid. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments. One quick point about the core robot: when putting the armour on and off and transforming Margh, this panel on his arm can be prone to paint damage. I sell decals and vinyl sticker kits through the Lukas decal store. I'll put a link in the description to that, because I've made some vinyl stickers for Margh's arms that will cover up that damage if you have damaged yours. And I've tested this, I've transformed it with these stickers in place, and they're still holding out just fine. They're a nice metallic red that's quite a good colour match with the backpack. I will also put a link in the description to a source for the kit, of course. Oops. The store, DP Robot store, where I bought it, seems to be sold out at the moment, but there's various other places on AliExpress and eBay where you can pick the kit up. So, I'm Lucas. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful.